Have you ever woken up involuntarily before 4 in the morning? It's still dark, the whole world seems asleep, but your eyes are already open? If this happens to you, especially after 60, it's time to pay attention. Your body may be trying to send you a message, and modern science now understands exactly what's going on. Many people think waking up too early is just an aging habit. But today we know that it could be a sign of invisible imbalances in the body, some mild, others that deserve attention. And believe me, understanding what your sleep is trying to tell you can make all the difference to your health, energy, and even your longevity. In this video, you'll discover the most common causes of waking up so early, what this might indicate about your heart, brain, and metabolism, and most importantly, what you can do starting today to recover full nights of rest. With real stories of people like Frank and Susan who learned to interpret this signal and changed their lives. Let's start with the first point: natural changes in the circadian rhythm after 60. Frank, 71, was always known as an early riser. But in recent years he began waking up earlier and earlier, 4:30 a.m., then 4 a.m., sometimes even earlier, despite going to bed at normal times. At first he thought it was normal. Just an old age thing, he'd say. But over time, he realized he was feeling more fatigued during the day, had less concentration and even mood changes. The explanation is scientific. After 60, our biological clock, and the one that regulates sleep and wakefulness, begins to shift naturally. Melatonin production, the sleep hormone, decreases, and the brain interprets the early morning hours as almost morning. This makes many older adults wake up earlier than they want. And the bad news, the quality of this disrupted sleep is worse for body and brain recovery. Susan, of the same age, sought help. Her doctor suggested a small change. Get more exposure to natural light in the early morning, especially between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m., and at night, drastically reduce exposure to bright white light and screens. Within weeks, she was able to sleep until 5:30 or 6 a.m. without trouble. The practical tip here is, adjust your light exposure. In the morning, seek natural light. At night, create a warm, low-light environment. This gently reprograms your internal clock and may give you back precious hours of sleep. If this first piece of information made you think about your light habits, comment number 1 below. Let's see who is really paying attention. Now, let's move on to the second point. Early awakenings could be one of the first signs of changes in mood and emotional systems. Margaret, 68, had never had trouble sleeping, but after the loss of her husband, she began waking up every day at 3:30 a.m. It wasn't explicit anxiety, it wasn't classic insomnia. She simply woke up for no reason. After months of this, she started feeling constant sadness and discouragement. It was then that she discovered that early awakening is considered, in medicine, one of the first hidden symptoms of depression in older adults. Sleep has a deep connection with emotional regulation. During the night, the brain works to consolidate memories, balance hormones, and clear tensions. When sleep is interrupted at this stage, the brain loses some of that balance, and it directly impacts mood, memory, and even the immune system. Joe, 74, went through something similar, but instead of ignoring it, he sought support. In addition to taking care of his diet and light exposure, he started practicing emotional relaxation activities at night. guided meditation, light stretching, and reading calming stories. Today, he says he wakes up at the right time with a lighter heart. The practical tip: if you wake up very early and feel sadness, irritability, or emotional fatigue, seek support. It's not weakness, it's your brain asking for help to recover its balance. If this point resonated with you, comment number 2. Your experience might help others who are going through the same thing without realizing it. And now comes the third point: hidden metabolic problems that affect sleep before 4 a.m. Richard, 76, was generally healthy, but suddenly he started waking up every night at 3:15 a.m. He felt strange hunger, sometimes a bit of cold sweat. After insisting with his doctor, he discovered he was starting to experience mild episodes of hypoglycemia, drops in blood sugar that trigger alarms in the body and cause a person to wake up. During the night, our body regulates blood sugar to keep the brain fueled. But if there are imbalances due to inadequate medication, prolonged fasting, or hormonal changes common in older adults, the body thinks it needs to wake up to protect itself. Frank solved the problem by adjusting his dinner. He started having more balanced meals with protein, fiber, and a bit of healthy fat, and avoided sweets at night. The result? His sleep returned to normal, and his energy drastically improved. The practical tip here is, pay attention to your nighttime eating. Not too light, not too heavy. And if you wake up with hunger or cold sweat, talk to your doctor about the possibility of hypoglycemia. If you've never thought that your diet could impact your sleep this way, comment number 3. Let's build a community of true information together. Now that we understand that waking up before 4 a.m. can be linked to changes in the biological clock, mood, and even metabolic imbalances, let's dive even deeper. There are factors that often go unnoticed, but are crucial to the quality of your sleep and your overall well-being after 60. The fourth point we need to consider is lack of proper physical activity during the day. Henry, 78, was always active, but in recent months, with retirement and fewer commitments, he became more sedentary. He would spend long periods sitting, watching TV or reading. When he tried to sleep, he could fall asleep, but would wake up precisely at 3 or 4 in the morning, as if his body were still unloaded. The explanation is simple and scientific. The human body was made to move. When we don't expend enough energy during the day, the body doesn't feel the biological need to stay in deep sleep for long periods. It's as if the brain says, we didn't exert that much, so we don't need to rest that much. Helen, 73, solved this practically. 20-minute light walks in the morning and small stretching sessions in the afternoon. Nothing exhausting, nothing heavy, but enough to give the body the stimulus it needed to truly want to rest at night. If you feel like your day is too sedentary, comment number 4. Small changes can bring big results to your sleep. Now let's move on to the fifth point: mild and undiagnosed respiratory problems. Frank, 76, didn't snore loudly or experience obvious shortness of breath, but he would wake up every day between 3 and 4 a.m. with the feeling that something was wrong. After a sleep analysis, he discovered small episodes of sleep apnea, brief breathing pauses that prevent the body from reaching the deepest, most restorative stages of sleep. It's important to know, sleep apnea doesn't just happen in obese people or those with loud snoring. In older adults, it can present more subtly, with frequent micro-awakenings, daytime fatigue, and even resistant hypertension. Margaret also had mild symptoms, just unexplained awakenings and sleepiness in the morning. Today she uses conscious breathing techniques and proper pillow positioning, significantly improving her sleep quality. If you wake up inexplicably in the middle of the night and feel tired in the morning, comment number 5. Breathing well while you sleep is essential to living well while awake. And now, a point many overlook: the influence of medications on sleep architecture. Joe, 75, took his blood pressure and cholesterol medications at night as his doctor instructed, but he never questioned how these medications might affect his sleep until, while investigating the cause of his early awakenings, he discovered that certain medications can alter the stages of sleep, reduce deep sleep, or increase the need to use the bathroom during the night. Drug metabolism changes with age, and sometimes what was correctly prescribed needs small adjustments over time. Susan, realizing the impact, revisited her treatment with her doctor. She changed the timing of some medications and adjusted minimal doses. The result? She sleeps better now than she did at 60. If you take medications daily and have never discussed how they impact your sleep, comment number 6. This could be a conversation that transforms your nights and your days. Now that you're familiar with the main factors that can make someone wake up before 4 a.m., we need to talk about something even more important: what to do with this information. Because knowing is good, but acting is what transforms. Let's talk now about the 7th and final point: the impact of a lack of consistent routine on sleep. Helen, 74, had a habit that seemed harmless. Every night she went to bed at a different time. Sometimes 9 p.m., sometimes 11:30 p.m. Sometimes she'd go to bed after watching shows, other times after having coffee with friends. It didn't seem like a big deal until she began to notice that her early wake-ups became a pattern. The human body, especially after 60, loves routine. Our internal clock, the circadian cycle, needs consistent signals to know when to release sleep hormones and when to prepare the body to wake up. When we vary the time we go to bed and wake up too much, the brain gets confused. The result? Fragmented sleep, meaningless wake-ups, and growing fatigue. Richard, 78, solved this very simply. He established a sleep ritual. Every day, he would go to his room at 9:30 p.m., read a chapter of a light book, take 3 deep breaths, and turn off the lights by 10 p.m. Gradually, his body learned, it's time to rest. If you feel like your nighttime routine is chaotic, comment number 7. Small practices of consistency can restore years of lost sleep. Now, take a deep breath with me and think, how many of these causes did you recognize in your own life? Maybe it's the wrong light at night, maybe a lack of movement, maybe unresolved worries, or a simple change in diet. Whatever it is, the most important thing to remember is waking up too early isn't a sentence. It's an opportunity to listen to your body, to seek guidance, to adjust your day so you can sleep better, live better, and protect your heart, mind, and energy for all that's yet to come. Susan, the one who reprogrammed her light exposure and meditation schedule, often says a beautiful phrase: sleeping well after 70 is like planting gardens inside us. It's peace that blooms from within. So, if you wake up before 4 a.m., don't blame yourself, don't panic. See it as an invitation. Your body is asking for more care, more order, more attention. If this video made sense to you, comment number 8. That way, we'll build a chain of information and support for everyone who needs it. Share this video with someone you love. Maybe someone is waking up every night and thinking it's normal, not knowing they can change. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Here we talk about longevity with science, respect, and a lot of love for your story, because living well after 60 isn't luck. It's a conscious choice. And it starts now.